Alright, welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. Hi y'all on a Sunday afternoon. Yep, just afternoon on a Sunday as a matter of fact. So, yeah. I think I remember something in the past that we used to do, a spicy Saturday or a spicy Sunday or both, and I never could figure out which one it actually was supposed to be, so I just did both. Anyway, we're going to do spicy Sunday today with some French Market coffee and chicory there. Good stuff. And let's use the real Old Spice, the vintage stuff. Now, it does not smell like Old Spice anymore. I've never smelled any of the vintage stuff. There's always going to be that one person that says, oh yeah, I've got 2 or 3. They smell just like they did when they came out. They'll do the same thing with the vintage Williams. Oh yeah, I got the vintage menthol. It smells just like menthol. It's like, you're the only person in the whole world that thinks it still has a scent. You know, come on, get off that bus. Now, the thing about it is, if you just so happen wanted that Old Spice scent while you were shaving, just put a few drops of the, aftershave on top of it, and then as you whip it up, you'll have the Old Spice scent. Scent has absolutely nothing to do with performance. Now, I understand that scent can help with the overall, relaxation, and everybody likes a good smelling soap. I like Rose. But, I love people that, I like this soap because it's got the performance, but this one smells a little bit better, so I use it more, and it's like, so you're going to give up performance for smell? No, not going to do it. But anyway, vintage Old Spice. So we've got a Eveready vintage Eveready brush here. I had originally bought this brush with the intention of reknotting it, and I never have. So it's a 550 PB, or is it I think it's a 550 PB, which I understand it's actually a 500 PB. And I understand the PB stood for Pure Badger. So anyway, that old knot's still banging along, and it still works pretty good. So we're going to see how it does. Now for a razor today, I haven't showed this off in a while. And this is the Hydra Magic. And they were great, I think. They were made so that you could lift the old lever under the bottom here. It's got the lever under here. And when you lift it, it opens everything up, and you can rinse the razor out good. I like that. Now, what I don't know is, I don't know how long it took them to wear out. I mean, I don't open them very much, the ones that I have, because I don't want them to get loose. I don't know how long it would take to wear something like that out. I mean, maybe they never wore out. I don't know. I've got one that's got a little shake in it, but it's not from that mechanism. It's where the handle actually attaches to the head. I need to put a few drops of super glue or Gorilla Glue or something down in there, and I just never have got around to it because it works. This one, however, is nice and tight. This one doesn't do that. But anyway, and I think that's a good blade. I'm not going to swear to it. We all know how that goes. Well, no, not all of us, because like I said, there's people that actually keep charts on that kind of stuff. And anyway, not me. So, but I think everything is good with that blade. We'll see when we start how we do. We're going to wipe the old face off. Just a regular. I've been working every day, so it's just an old regular old day's growth. Maybe a little over a day, because I worked a really early morning shift the other day. So I shaved pretty early, and this is of course noon. And then I'll go in for an early morning shift in the morning. Now the neat thing about this, I prefer nights, but there's really not that much going on at nights out here where I am right now. But by getting in on that early shift, and we're talking I'll be in at 3 in the morning, man, the first, up until 8 o'clock or whatever, man, it flies. You got people coming in, you're moving around. It's still dark outside, which is definitely a plus. So another vintage soap. I've got several vintage soaps. I've got the vintage Williams. I got the vintage Colgate, a couple of different reiterations of it. I've got vintage Burma Shave, and I've got the vintage here. And I use them just like regular soaps. I've never found one that I couldn't just get. I mean, even with the Colgates that look all dried up and cracked and nasty, they're still soap. You go and you work a lather up off of them. You don't have to sit there and bloom them. No need to do that. I mean, if you store them uncovered, they're going to get, dirt and stuff. Wipe them off. If you store me uncovered, I'm going to get dirt and stuff over me. So wipe them off and they're good to go. You still don't have to bloom them. If you want to bloom something, we all know you can go plant a flower, right? Geez, one of Fuzzyisms. Don't need no soup bowls in the bathroom. If you're going to shim something, go put a Wendy in. Anyway, that's just for the folks that like the Fuzzyisms. So here we go. Get us a good little paste worked up there on our vintage Badger brush. So we're using vintage soap, vintage razor, vintage brush, and a new blade. And I don't know how old this Old Spice bottle is, but it's not going to be that old of stuff. I mean, it could be 5 or 6 years old. Probably more like 10 years old. But anyway, still, it's not the old stuff. Not the old stuff. Anyway. As you see, this old vintage Old Spice makes a good lather. Now, it never was that big a deal in soap. I mean, it wasn't like it was a high quality English soap or anything, even when it was new. So most people who really get into the Old Spice soap, it's nostalgic because you can't get it anymore. And Old Spice is, of course, you know, the thing vintage shaving, which everybody knows. And it's not like it's a bad soap. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it was a typical soap. It wasn't anything that was over the top special. But as a vintage soap, it still does really good too. So the Hydra Magic. And yep, blade's going to be fine. And surprisingly enough, really no surprise at all, it shaves like a chicken, which is a good thing. We're going to do our with the grain because we know our grain, how our beard grain runs. Now, question, do you prefer long strokes or short strokes? I've discussed this before, but there may be some newer folks out here that I haven't heard from. I prefer using short strokes. And I can do long. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with it. I can do it, see? Not doing something and not being able to do something are two different things. There are people who can do things and they choose not to. And it's not because they don't want to learn, and it's not because they can't get technique down or whatever it is they're doing. It's because they choose to do it a different way. That's different from someone that either won't try because, oh, that's too hard to do. I can't do that. That'd be terrible. Or, you know, they come up with, well, I can't do it the way everybody else do it. I got to do it my own way. I'm not a big fan of those things. I just go my own way. I'm my own person. I can do my own thing. I'm like, all right, well, that's great. But usually that means it's a crutch for the fact that you can't make something work. So you say you have to do it in a unique way because you can't do it the way the rest of the world does it. Your mileage may vary is often a crutch. My face is not the same as yours. My beard's not the same as yours. My accent's not the same as yours. I can't do it that way. I have to do it different because I'm different and blah, 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 blah. Usually a crutch. Just say, I can't drink black coffee. It's bitter. Drink girly coffee then. All right. Let's put a little more water in the sink because I ain't taking time to fix the sink. Still leaks down a little bit. I think all I'd have to do is get under there and adjust the stopper thingy so that when you pull it up, it seats tighter. I don't think that's a real complicated thing, but it's not something that's bothersome enough that I've worried with it. All right. Put in a nice little across the grain. I'm going really hard across the grain on that side today. No particular reason. Heck, I was shaving the other day and I was sitting there thinking about other things, and I noticed that on my second pass I wasn't even going across the grain. I was still going with the grain again. I didn't break down, didn't have to go see the therapist or anything. It was okay. It was still a good shave. Had my touch-up pass with my witch hazel and went about my business. Wasn't that big a deal. All right. So far, I haven't nicked myself on my wrinkles. You know, I noticed something. I was thinking about that the other day. Most of the time, if I'm going to go and nick myself on my wrinkles there, it's going to be with a two-sided thingy. I don't do that with a single edge or a injector razor. It's usually in two-sided thingies if I'm going to hang a. Does that mean it's easier to shave and get a good shave without cutting yourself up with a real razor? That could mean that. At least in my case. Your mileage might vary. Nah. I used to say your mileage might vary, but it really shouldn't. You know, one person can drive a car and they can get certain mileage out of it, and another person drives and don't get as much. They come back and say, well, that thing, you know, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, you know, that's user error. And usually your mileage might vary is user error also, if you have to use that one. Jackrabbit starts and stomping on the gas and then stomping on the brakes. Don't work that way. It's not like an 18-wheeler. With an 18-wheeler, I used to say you rake the brake, you smash the gas. But in big trucks, driving around and other stuff, especially driving around a little automatic, there shouldn't be that much reason to sit there and slam it around. You're not raising a Monza. All right, good old touch-up pass here with our witch hazel. This is Dickerson witch hazel, courtesy of my brother-in-law, because he got it and didn't like it, I guess. I hadn't heard that whole story yet, but apparently he didn't like it. But anyway, apparently he's got reasonably good taste. He married my sister. Either that or he was off his meds for a while. I'm not sure which it is. But anyway, there we go. That's today's Sunday spicy shave. Look at it. Nice and cleaned up. And that's one test for a razor. I mean, most razors, you get a couple of 3 or 4 days in everything, and it makes it easier to get a good shave. Don't ask me why. I haven't studied it, but I can tell you, in my opinion, and that's what we preach here, right? In my opinion, it is easier, and I know I've mentioned this before and other people have agreed with me, but I'm going to mention it again for the folks that may not know it. It is easier to get a close shave, a good close shave, when you have a couple of days worth of growth than it is when you just have a single day's worth of growth. It's true. And some people say, well, you know, you got the single day, it's more bristly right out of the skin, you need to do more prep, you need to do this, you need to do that. Now, I don't know about all that because I don't, you know, I used to be really big on prep. I'm really not anymore. But anyhow, so that was just a single. So if you really want to know how good a razor does for you and how good it works and how good your technique is and how good your lather is and all that stuff, shave every day for a few days and see how it works for you. Folks like Dave in Kentucky shave every day, and they're on top of their game because he makes every razor he touch gives him a good shave because he knows what he's doing. And but that's a good way. If you got a razor and everything, you're set up. I wonder how good this setup really is. Use it every day for a while and see how it does for you. All right, well, that's all I got for you today. Spicy Sunday. I'm going to go. I got a pot of pinto beans cooking and some cabbage cooking. Now, cabbage is finished, but I got a pot of pinto beans cooking, and I got some pig chops roasted in the oven, baking in the oven. So that's going to be lunch, supper, whatever. And then I'll blast off to work here for a little while. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, Miss Luna says hello because she lays right there on the bed and judges all my videos. And right now she's pretty well asleep, so I guess this one was boring. Sorry about that. But anyway, happy shaves to you.